22nd, and I am in a multi-channel collaboration to celebrate with all of you. Now, some of the ladies will be doing unboxings, some might do makeup looks, others might be going through their household and perhaps donating items to help repurpose, reuse, and reduce. But what I'm going to do is tell you about the history of Earth Day. Now, this event is celebrated around the world in 193 countries to demonstrate support for environmental protection, and it is the largest secular celebration in the world. Save the planet, reuse, reduce, recycle, go green. We've all heard this before, right? But do you know why, where, and how Earth Day was started? That's what I'm here to share with you today, in instances, some personal memories as well. Now, it was called the Santa Barbara oil spill of 1969, and that is what was one of the catalysts to start this environmental movement. And it took place here in my hometown, Santa Barbara, California, 9 miles from where I'm sitting, 6 miles offshore. And I was 4 years old when this happened, and I have memories of this just gargantuan environmental disaster. And it was called the ecological shot heard around the world. Sorry, it took me days to write this, so I'm going to be reading kind of speech-like, so get comfortable. Hopefully it won't be too boring. California has a vast source of crude oil and natural gas. And the home that I grew up in actually used to be part of a landlocked oil field back in the 1930s. And then they realized that these fields extended offshore, and they were just waiting to be tapped. Between 1966 and 1989, 23 oil derricks were created and put into place, and they currently dot the California, Santa Barbara, Channel Islands to this day. And some of my earliest memories as a child are those same oil derricks when they turned on their Christmas lights in winter. But on January 28, 1969, the disaster struck. 6 miles off the coast, the Union Oil Platform Number A had a blowout, and corners were cut in the creation of this platform. Special permits were granted, while her sister platforms were in compliance with federal regulations. Instead of having a steel conductor casing going down 300 feet into the ocean floor with an additional 800 feet of surface casing, Platform A only had 239 feet of conductor casing and only 188 feet of water. The pressure had been building up, so when a drill had to be replaced, there was this huge surge of liquid, of oil and drilling mud and gas, and it just burst forth, setting drilling. I think the mud. They said the mud jetted 90 feet in the air above the platform, and this was at 1,000 pounds per square inch of pressure. So the crew tried to cap the flow and obviously failed. And then the oilmen noticed that the sea had started to bubble and to boil. And there were fissures that were created, erupting uncontrolled across the sea floor. And then there was an ever-expanding oil slick just spreading across the ocean rapidly. So for the first 11 days of this oil spill, oil escaped at a rate of 9,000 gallons per hour. And by the time Union Oil had managed to stop the first main leak, 4.5 million gallons had spread over 300 miles of California coastline, from Pismo Beach and Point Conception north of me all the way to the border of Mexico. It ranked as the worst oil spill in the country's history, and 50-something years later, it is still the third largest, only surpassed by the Exxon Valdez in 1989 and the Deep Horizon in 2010. Now, Union Oil enlisted crop dusting planes to coat the growing slick with dispersant and talc, which were just as toxic to the environment as the crude oil ever was. They sent divers into the ocean to try and cement the cracks. Epic fail on that one. Citizens rallied and rushed to spread 3,000 tons of straw along the beaches to try and sup up the crude oil, and the scene gained a national spotlight. But these efforts didn't stop oil from washing onto the beaches. It was weird. It was just so quiet to not hear the ocean. The crude oil weighed the water down so much, it was practically silent. This coated the feathers of all types of seabirds, seagulls, cormorants, California pelicans, and an estimated 9,000 of them died, along with dolphins, sea lions, otters, elephant seals, and other marine life. I'm getting emotional, so hopefully I can make through this without starting to burst into tears. So, of course, the company was in denial. One official was quoted as saying, "I don't like to call this a disaster because there's been no loss of human life. I'm amazed at the publicity for the loss of a few birds." Yet grim footage of thousands of dying birds on the tarred beaches of Santa Barbara and the efforts of hundreds of volunteers to spread straw all over the beaches and scrub rocks with detergent and try to bathe the less oil-coated birds. It was all over the news. That was something that I vividly remember as even such a small child. I remember the black beaches. We weren't a beach-going family very often, but we did go to the kiddie pool area down by the beach, and I just remember this just doesn't look right. It doesn't smell like it doesn't look right. But I remember the commercials for Dawn dishwashing liquid, showing volunteers scrubbing the birds in an attempt to save them because it gets the grease out. The survival rate of the birds was only about 12%, but at least they tried. Dead dolphins were found beached and their blowholes clogged with oil. Life magazine published an article in June 1969 of a trip they made in May. Reporters and photographers visited the uninhabited San Miguel Island, which is the westernmost of our Santa Barbara Channel Islands, and it's famous for their colonies of sea lions and sea elephants. The team counted over 100 dead animals just on the stretch of beaches that they visited for the article, and it was still black with tar. The local harbor had been breached and 8 inches deep in fresh crude oil, and boat hulls were just coated in black. The residents were evacuated because there are a lot of people that do live down on their boats in the harbor, so all of the residents down there were evacuated due to potential risk of explosion and the abundant hydrocarbon vapors. The beaches were black with up to 6 inches of oil. The stench, it was just horrendous. It was just horrendous. All the dead animals and then the crude oil stench on top of it. It was horrible. Platform A was repeatedly repaired. It leaked again. It was repaired. And the final leak was between December 15th and 20th, 1969, almost a whole year later after it first erupted. I remember 2-3 decades later, if you went down to the beach, walked along the beach, you'd come home and your feet would be covered in tar. That stuff did not come out. You're using gasoline to get that stuff off your feet. I mean, it'd be on your blankets. If you were trying to build sandcastles down near the water's edge, your hands would come up and it'd have tar on it decades later. Needless to say, this started a massive environmental disaster, prompted the local citizenry to take action. A local UCSB, University California Santa Barbara student, Paul Rellis, founded one of the first ecology centers and environmental information hubs in the nation. Within the first week, local activists created a grassroots group called Get Oil Out, GOO, that clamored for the government to stop drilling in the Santa Barbara Channel. They are still fighting to this day to get all 23 outdated platforms decommissioned and removed. Also during that time in Santa Barbara, the Environmental Defense Center and the Community Environmental Council were formed. UCSB created the first environmental studies department, a model of which has been adopted nationwide. President Nixon was an owner of California beachfront property himself up near San Simeon and the Hearst Castle, and a big colony of elephant seals. And he visited our beach to assess the damage. And I quote, "The Santa Barbara incident," he says, "has frankly touched the conscience of the American people." Gaylord Nelson, a Wisconsin senator who had quite a few of environmental credentials, more so than the president at that time, also visited Santa Barbara, and afterward on board a plane to his next speaking engagement at Berkeley, the senator read about teach-ins against the Vietnam War, and suddenly it dawned on me, he said, why not a nationwide teach-in on the environment? And the idea of Earth Day took root. Nelson formed a nonprofit called Environmental Teach-In, Inc., and got the California Republican, Senator Pete McCloskey to co-chair it, and it was called the Day of Learning. It was later redubbed Earth Day later on. He succeeded in amassing almost 20 million people to the cause of educating people on the issues related to the environment on April 22nd, 1970, with the help of the first Earth Day organizer, Dennis Hayes. And on that first Earth Day, dubbed the Day of Learning, over 1,500 U.S. college campuses participated in teach-ins. The 1969 oil spill was a catalyst that sparked the environmental movement into high gear and galvanized lawmakers and educational institutions. And the legislative results were the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency was created, the National Environment Policy Act, the Clean Water Act, the California Coastal Commission, the California Environmental Quality Act, the Water Quality Act, a campaign to ban DDT, and the National Wilderness Preservation System, and the list goes on. I think Lyndon B. Johnson, even prior to this, had already enacted over 300, laws to help protect the environment prior to Nixon. Now, a little about the platforms that we have left. They have names. Surprisingly, I found this out during my research. I had no idea they had names. So the platform names are Platform A, B, C, Edith, Ellie, Ellen, Eureka, Gail, Gina, Gilda, Grace, Harmony, Harvest, Henry, Heritage, Hermosa, Hidalgo, Hillhouse, Hogan, Holly, Hondo, Hoochin, and Irene. The smallest is Hogan, and it weighs a delicate 3,500 tons, while the largest, Harmony, is a monster at 53,000 tons. The oldest is Holly, created in 1966. I was 2 years old. And her last owner, Vinoco, is bankrupt. The prior owner is ExxonMobil, who is on the hook for her removal and the restoration of the seafloor, which should cost approximately $475 million. The California State Lands Commission has now taken her over, even in the process of trying to get her removed, though technically it's in federal waters. The newest are Harmony and Heritage, which were put in place in 1989. The lifespan of an oil derrick is 30 to 40 years, and I'm sure you can do the math. There are 7 undeveloped leases on California oil fields, estimated to contain 1 billion barrels of recoverable oil and 500 billion cubic feet of recoverable natural gas. So the fight is not over. Okay, so now I've given you a long history lesson from the perspective of a native Santa Barbarian, and my memories as a child, a very small child. My guy and I were talking about it when I was testing the speech out on him, and we remember the same things. I think Dawn dishwashing liquid even today uses the slogan that has to do with cleaning the birds. It's still part of their company information. So this collab was started over on a Facebook YouTuber unboxer group, and it consists of the following channels: Alicia's Reviews, Beautifying MZ, Katie's Corner of the World, Kelly's Unboxing Addiction, Kim's A Little of a Lot, Single Mom Review, and me, Tea Time Adventures. Now, I mentioned before, we are going to have giveaways. Each channel determines what they are going to do, but the time frame is that it starts today, Earth Day 4/22, and the end date will be on Friday, May 5th, and the winner will be chosen and announced Saturday, May 6th. Now, my giveaway rules is we're going to be using a secret word, and that secret word is tar. T-A-R, as in the stuff stuck to the bottom of your foot if you trips through the beach. Tar. You must be publicly subscribed to all the channels in this collaboration, and I will verify this before the winner is announced. You must be 18 years or older and a U.S. citizen living in the United States with a verifiable residential or P.O. box address. YouTube is not associated with this giveaway and cannot be held responsible for anything in it. All prizes were purchased by myself. I am not responsible for any allergic reaction or sensitivity to the items in the giveaway. Please check the ingredients before use. You are your own healthcare advocate. Once the winner has been announced, they'll have 48 hours to get into contact with me. If the prize goes unclaimed, a new name will be drawn. And honestly, though, please do not make me do this. I hate doing this. So don't make me do this. I'll hunt you down if I have to. I'll ask other collaborators, hey, do you have such as address? So I can contact you to make sure that whoever I draw wins. Now, Teresa, you haven't mentioned. What are we winning? Well, since I can't seem to get transportation anywhere these days, and I still owe people giveaway prizes since last December, I'm going to go the easy route. Do a gift certificate. And the company that I have chosen it's going to be a $25 gift certificate to e.l.f. Cosmetics online store. They are fully clean. They are a vegan brand. They are double certified, cruelty-free, and have taken significant steps towards sustainability. Their products are formulated without using toxins and unsafe ingredients in its formulations, such as phthalates and parabens, plus their skincare line includes no sulfates. It is also a California brand, which is why I thought it would be perfect for this collaboration and this giveaway. So, thank you so much, everybody, for visiting with me today. My returning subscribers, I love and adore you. For those that are new on the bus, I hope you're happy that you joined at this time. And to those that are just driving through, checking me out, hopefully by the end of this video, you'll want to take a wander through my own personal playlists and see what I'm all about. And maybe, subscribe and notify. And I'm hoping you're all going to give me a thumbs up for positivity. So my next question is going to be, what do you do to help save the planet? What do you do to take care of our environment? Do you recycle your cans and bottles? Do you go through your closet and donate clothes? What do you do on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, yearly basis to make a difference? I guess that's it for now. Let me know in the comments down below. Again, you must be publicly subscribed to all the channels in this collaboration, and I hope you enjoyed my little speech. It took me days to write, though I did get a lot of information from an article from the Smithsonian Institution and another one information from Wikipedia. So if you're interested, those sources, if I don't link them down below, they're easily found. So thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have an excellent weekend. I hope if you celebrate Earth Day in your city, you get out and have some fun, get educated, go green, recycle everything. So please take good care of yourselves. Take good care of each other. Take care of this little dust ball spinning in space, because right now it's the only planet that we have that can sustain life for us. So thank you all, and I will see you around the net. Bye.